Okay, chapter 2, overview of my work and personal background and education. So here is some of the image that I put in my portfolio, and almost all of the work that you see here, and should I say, well, yes, almost every image you see is 3D based. Even those images that looks really like drawings and they are intended to look like they are keyshot and ZBrush sculpts and post processing in Photoshop. This one too is a 3D render that I've post processed. Mm, all of Mainly all of those images contain some 3D at some point. And so to go very quickly through the why am I using 3D to make things that doesn't look 3D at all? Uh, well, to be very honest, this is because I'm incapable to do those things otherwise. Uh, I decided to come back to art very late in my life, when I was 37. I'm almost 40 today, and it was something I really needed to do at that moment. Uh, like I think all of you guys, I was um, drawing all the time when I were a kid. But at some point, other things to cover in my life. And I've been a professional musician for a decade. I was making a living out of music. I was a percussionist and a drum player. And after which for personal reason, I had to change because it was kind of a difficult way of life, especially to have a family. And for almost 5 to 7 years, I've been a computer engineer. I was writing softwares mainly for web agency. I've always been kind of a computer nerd, and when I wanted to move from music to do something else in my life, I found that writing softwares was something really enjoyable, that was in some way very creative. It's really a creativity link to the beauty of algorithmic and ideas, and I really love that. But at some point, I just realized it wasn't satisfying enough. It wasn't close enough to the creativity I was used to when I was playing music, and doing art as a living has been my dream my entire life. And I guess when I was a musician, I was satisfied enough with all the other thing around. So it wasn't that much of a problem, but I knew at some point it was really something I couldn't subtract to. I really had to make that, and so I decided to make my own education to become a professional artist. And at that moment, my work was very inappropriate for that goal. I mean, I didn't draw. I haven't. I haven't took a pencil since I was basically 19, so I was completely incapable of drawing anything. It was like an impossible goal, and everybody around me thought I was like in the wrong path. That was something impossible because this job is so hard. There is so many people out there. So I decided to commit to it anyway, and I applied a very pragmatic way of thinking in my education to achieve that. So I tried to really grasp what was the bare minimum level that was acceptable to be a professional artist, and to whatever the tools, whatever the choices, target that level. and I've been working with mostly GNOME workshop and digital tutors subscriptions for 15 months to try to acquire basic knowledge about light, about composition, about what was making an image working. Because I knew that if I decided at that moment to just commit to raw drawing and painting skills, uh, I was trying not to be a fool and to be honest with myself. And I knew there were absolutely no way for me to make it as a professional artist by just committing to drawing and painting, because it was too far from me, too far behind me, and there are so many absolute virtuos, absolute guys super skilled in drawing and painting. I couldn't, whatever the hours I put, compete with them in the amount of time that I had before me, because I had a precise amount of time and I knew I couldn't fail. I have people counting on me, and that wasn't an option to fail. So I decided to go for what I was good at, and it is computer things. As a software geek, I was kind in my world with computer thing, with filters, with programming, with algorithmic, with learning new tools. So I commit to it. I learn 3D. I try to learn about a lot about color theory, really understand how the physics of a light was working, how it was interacting with materials, with surfaces, uh, uh, and also commit a lot of time in understanding composition. Though I feel I'm just starting to scratch the the top of the iceberg, and there is so much to learn about composition. And I really feel this is what makes or not an image work, whatever the degree of painting skills and drawing skills you put in there. If the composition don't work, the image in, for me, my image can't work. Um, After those 15 months, I knew my skills wasn't up to the expected level. So I tried to find something to do in that industry that would allow me to keep a foot in the industry, be connected to it, but still allow me to make a living out of it, and let me a bit of time to continue my learning process. So I became a comic book colorist. I found jobs in here, and it works quite well for 2 years, for 18 months. I've been doing comic book coloring, mostly with French publishers. And during that time, I tried to commit to continue my learning process. And indeed, I still had to study drawing, painting, anatomy, but that wasn't my very main concern. I tried to put my ability to create illustration first, and this was mainly a matter of understanding. Again, I repeat, composition and lighting. At some point, I just understood it wasn't possible for me to continue like that, because the amount of skills that I have to continue to acquire to become a professional artist, uh, this time wasn't really possible to put in with my comic book coloring work. So I managed to gather some money to live without without the need of having another job for 6 months. And during the 6 months, I committed basically all the time that was possible to put in, and it was around 2,000 hours. That was a lot of time, but it really paid off, because after after studying for that time, I think I was at that bare minimum level that I wanted to have to be a professional artist. And 6 months after, I found a job. I became art director for the Titan Grace Will Wheaton TV show. I worked for ex-CTG. I've been published thanks to Didgital in my first magazine, and later on I've been published in ImagineFX. So I made it. I attained my goals. Now I know that I really have to improve my fundamental skills, which are drawing and painting, because I know these skills can really help me to become faster, to to make a bend between my ideas and the realization faster. But at the moment, I figure out a process that allow me to create images that I can make a living of, and I know that now I can take the time whenever I have it to work on my other fundamentals. Um, the point of all that is to say that technique and art are indeed related, but it's not in that an obvious way that you you want to think. I know on the internet a lot of people are saying that you have to know how to draw, you have to know how to paint, and indeed this is true. But if you feel that your painting and raw drawing skills aren't up to the task of your expectation, aren't up to your expectation, well, you have other tools at your disposal that you can use at your advantage to create your own images and unleash your creativity. And the point of telling you all that is to insist on the fact that at some point it was really by accepting who I was, by accepting my limitations, that I really find the strength to use my current skills to go through my goals. And I think this is quite important. We are all different, and we are not genetically programmed to draw. We are not genetically programmed to do things a certain way, and each and every people on this planet can do things their own very way. So that's it. I hope in this tutorial I can show you that there is different way to do things, and you can achieve whatever whatever look you want by designing it, and not especially by being bound to do it with a certain technique, because technique is nothing more than a tool, and a tool with no mean has absolutely no purpose. So this is usually how I work. I do an image, I do two image, and after the third, I'm start to notice that there is something wrong with my skill set. There is something that I really have to work on, and usually this is those times that I choose to take a week also to work on a specific skills. It can be anatomy, it can be perspective, it can be color theory, but usually I'm not working on a skill in until I really feel, I really know that I need it. And this is kind of a pragmatic way of thinking, but it worked for me because this is who I am. It may not work for you. Maybe you are already a way better penciler and painter that I am. In that case, you may find your own way of doing things. So thank you for listening to mylife.com, and now let's go through the making of this image.